WrestleZone presents Lost in the Midcard. Here are your hosts, Jeremy Bennett and Matt Black. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast where we're going to focus on the positives. We're positive that Vince is screwed. It's lost in the mid-card. Welcome. Royal Rumble happened on the heels of, a lot of information regarding some of that hush money that Vince had paid out. And, on top of all that, we got some breaking news that also happened with a major injury coming out of the Royal Rumble. We'll get into all of that, but first, make sure you are subscribed to Lost in the Midcard on WrestleZone. Just search for WrestleZone, all one word. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell icon. Make sure you like this video, comment on it, and share it with your friends so we can have all of you join us in the chat as we do this every Monday night live, 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central. Also, we're on Twitter at LITMC Podcast and Facebook as well. You can search us up at Lost in the Midcard as well. I am your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JB Huskers. And as always, my co-host, he is on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
I'm good, man, but it's a real shame we have absolutely nothing to talk about this week. Man, nothing has happened in the last week in the world of professional wrestling. And I can't even say that with a straight face. This last week has been insane. It's been absolutely
road. Such a smooth road to WrestleMania we're on right now.
From our last podcast on Monday night, from Tuesday to today to this afternoon, has been a nonstop whirlwind of insanity of pro wrestling news that it's hard for anybody to truly keep up with, but we're going to try to break it all down for you while you're here before Monday Night Raw tonight. It's been a wild week.
What's up to everybody in the chat? Uncle Howdy, Ozzy, Steven on Mr. Steven Elimination Chambers, MK, Mark Cho. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Of course, if you are listening to us via podcast, you can always join us live in the chat at 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central on WrestleZone's YouTube channel. So make sure to tune in. Talking about that, I'm like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, was this Vince stuff last week? And I was like, no, it wasn't. It was like in the middle of the week. I was like, did we already talk about this? No, but interesting. We'll get to that later. We'll get to the Rumble in a minute as well, but let's get into our lead story right now. And that was what broke a few hours ago. Phil Brooks, CM Punk, making his triumphant return to the ring after 10 years away from it. Last we saw, Paul Heyman kind of turning his back on Punk in the Rumble and Punk getting eliminated shortly after. And then we would not see him again until 7 years later in AEW. And well, we all know how that played out. So he comes in at what was it even?
27? I think it's 27.
It was late. Yep, 27. One of the coveted spots. That was like the hot spot for a while until 30 took over with Cody winning it at 30 last year. That made it 5 people that won it, where in 27, I believe 4 people have won it. So Punk comes in at number 27. We'll get into the match itself, which I thought was good. I thought the women was better, but I thought the final 2 was great. The final 4 was great. I thought the end of the match was tremendous. And in that was CM Punk. Word is that once again, a la what put him on the sidelines at AEW a couple years ago, Punk has torn his tricep, according to the Wrestling Observer, and PW Insider is stating he's going to require surgery, which will sideline him well past WrestleMania. Fightful Select also posted a free post today that stated that Fightful has heard that the Punk has suffered the triceps injury as well. and WWE sources have confirmed. Punk is scheduled for tonight's Raw, probably going to address the issue. If you remember right, Matt, it was a good 6 to 8 months that he was out, wasn't it? When he tore his tricep before?
Well, it's really hard to tell because he tore his tricep at All Out in the match with Moxley.
Yeah.
And that was the night of the brawl. So he didn't come back until June of the following year for Collision, but I mean, no one knows for sure at what point he was cleared and ready to go off of that. It's also important to note that he tore his right tricep in AEW and tore his left tricep in WWE.
Another balance.
So it's a new injury. It's not a re-aggravation of the old injury. It happened again. Like a lot of people that were down on Punk's AEW run made the argument that the man was injury prone and he couldn't sustain any type of long run in the company because he was consistently getting hurt. He comes in WWE, he works 2 quick house show matches at the end of December, and his first legitimately real match tears his tricep. And he hasn't, like, if you don't count training and you don't count the house show matches, the man hasn't had a real match since August at all.
Oh, he looked gassed. He looked gassed in that match. He did.
And I was making jokes with some friends that the C and CM Punk didn't stand for cardio. No. But I mean, that could have a lot to do with the fact that the man was injured. And if you're injured and you're still trying to get through that, you're probably going to be sucking wind and you're probably going to be a lot more fatigued than you were. So we can't really judge his cardio or anything, but we can judge the fact that his body just doesn't seem to be holding up. And WWE is now in the position of when he comes back, we've already seen him injured multiple times in the other company. His first important match back with us now, he's injured. Can we rely on him when he comes back to be in top programs around championships if there's just the great possibility of him getting hurt again?
Yeah, he's 45. So at that age, you're not going to,
Which
be
really
invincible.
is just a number. There's a lot of wrestlers older than that are wrestling consistently without getting injured. I mean, everybody's body's different. I don't really chalk this up to age, but I might chalk this up to the fact that he was away from this stuff for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And his body wasn't, going through this kind of stuff on a daily basis. I know he did some MMA stuff for a couple years, but nothing to the extent. Wrestling in a wrestling ring and competing in the UFC are 2 totally different types of things to train for.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, like, when he comes back, what type of CM Punk we're going to get, and if WWE is going to trust to hand him the ball going forward now. Because I honestly don't know. I really and truly don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but once you become injury prone, though, especially when you get to that age, that's where it's going to be like that. I mean, obviously, there are guys. I mean, hell, Nagata's 55, and look what he did against Daniel Bryan on Saturday.
Great match against Bryan Danielson on AEW Collision.
Suzuki's in his.
I hope we get a chance.
In his 50s.
I hope we get a chance to talk about Collision before this episode's over, because I know a lot of people slept on it on Saturday night due to the Royal Rumble. But AEW Collision was phenomenal on Saturday night. If you have it on your DVR, you haven't had a chance to watch, like, circle back to that at some point this week and check out Collision, because I don't think you'll regret it. It was a very good show.
Yeah, Suzuki's the same age as Nagata, so they're both 55. It was a good. I literally just got done with Collision, as I typically do, because I'm usually not home on Saturdays. I got done with Collision right before the show started here. Of course, I still was home and I watched the Rumble. I didn't want to do both at the same time. I wanted to give each focus. So, with Cody winning, word is that was not an audible. The plan all along was Cody to win, and they didn't change it because of the injury. Obviously they didn't know what it was. The doctor wanted to check on Punk. Punk waved it off and continued wrestling. So. It was definitely not an audible. Cody was the plan all along, and I think the show went 2 for 2 on the Rumble. So there you go. Steven Chambers says put Punk on commentary while recovering. That'd be great.
I mean, well, that comes down to the fact of him if that's something he's even going to want to do.
Yeah.
I guess is he going to want to be on TV? I mean, look, we assume that there's an opening on SmackDown right now, but for all we know, that spot has already been filled. And I don't think CM Punk and Corey Graves would make a very good commentary duo based on their past history.
Well, and on top of that, WWE is as focused on 2-man booths now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah.
Kevin
well,
Patrick's out.
Could
you imagine CM Punk and Corey Graves calling SmackDown?
Can Graves do play-by-play, though, do you think? Could he be the...
I think he could if he wanted. I think he would be more... Honestly, I think Graves would be more tolerable as a play-by-play commentator instead of a color commentator.
It'd be interesting.
I think they'd butt heads too often. I think there's still bad blood there between those two for, how things...
Yeah.
Resolved between those two after he left WWE. I don't know if that would... I don't know how well that would go over and how long it would last until they end up, at each other's throats.
Yeah. Antoine in the chat, do we get Gunther at Seth versus WrestleMania? Now, I talked to Matt about this in our DMs here this afternoon. I said I think the top two guys are going to probably be Drew McIntyre and Gunther at this point.
And if Drew's in no hurry to sign, you can't put him in that spot either.
No, and now Gunther is not going to face Brock because Brock is obviously the guy that was a UFC and WWE champion because there's only one of those. Because it sure wasn't Ken Shamrock in 2020 that they were trying to sign.
Brock should have been in the Rumble. He should have been in Braun Breaker's. Braun Breaker took Brock's spot.
Matt doesn't believe this.
Brock was scheduled to face Gunther at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So
Matt doesn't believe this, but it's being heavily reported today that everything that happened was supposed to lead to for somehow Brock Lesnar and Dominic at the Chamber, and everything that happened.
Could that be hilariously entertaining? Yes. Do I 100% believe that was the plan? I don't know.
I think they were going to try to do a Maven spot and have a Dominic eliminate Lesnar, and then Lesnar beat the shit out of him. I honestly believe the report that Meltzer put out there today or yesterday, whatever day it was. Cain Velasquez was never a WWE champion, was he?
No, but he was a former UFC heavyweight champion.
But the report states a WWE and UFC.
I don't remember it saying that. I just remember saying a former UFC heavyweight champion.
But they were trying to get him to re-sign. Was Kane ever signed? They let him go just because he was a flop, I thought.
It was still around the same time frame, so I understand why people are speculating. But the fact that WWE told Brock, "Thanks, but no thanks, you can stay home," says quite a bit to me, and I would imagine I don't know if we ever see Brock in WWE again.
No,
honestly, the last we see Brock might have been that trilogy with Cody Rhodes. Brock might be officially gone.
Yeah. Steven's saying you could hear a pin drop when Sammy came out at 30. You got to remember, in baseball stadiums and large venues like this, sound goes straight up. The crowd is not going to come across as loud as it seems in the arena when you're in a baseball stadium or a outdoor arena. The sound goes straight up, so you're not going to hear everything.
I mean, you also need to keep in mind, for some reason, WWE in their infinite wisdom decided to take a 4-match show and turn it into a 4-hour pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And also a whole hour of people sitting there at the pre-show with absolutely nothing to do.
Yeah,
but waste their energy by doing chants that no one can hear because there was no pre-show match on for people to get excited about. So I think 5 hours of sitting in that venue, I think by the time we were getting near the end of that Rumble, I think people were tired.
But all throughout the pay-per-view, people were saying how quiet it was. It's because the sound goes
I thought
up.
The crowd was pretty lively for the Women's Royal Rumble. I thought they were taken out of it during the 4-way. For the Universal Championship, it was really hard for them to bring them back.
Even at loud points, people were saying they were quiet. It's like, well, that's the reason why. It's kind of hard to capture that when you're in such a big area.
I'd still rather have genuine crowd reactions than them piping in audio.
Oh God, yeah. So let's get to the Rumble. for the second year in a row. Pat McAfee's music hits. He is the guest commentator. Michael Cole this time was not left in the dark. He knew about it, but Corey Graves did, and he was visibly upset. Can we just get these two guys to have a match together? For the love of God, I need it. The always reliable Natalya kicks off at number 1, and not wasted any time. The return of Naomi, fresh off of, well, it aired on Thursday, but obviously it was taped right after Hard to Kill, where she loses to Jordynne Grace. I think she have one more Impact appearance.
She still has another match. It's her and Grace in a tag match. I can't remember who they're facing, but I think it's this week. They're in a tag
probably
match.
It's probably God damn, the one that what's her name, that Giselle Shaw, because that faction, I bet it's her and Savannah, because they attack them afterwards, because Giselle's got the
I genuinely I read the spoilers. I genuinely can't remember who they face. I wonder if TNA. I wonder if on commentary they call her Naomi. I wonder if they refer to her as a WWE superstar who returned at the Royal Rumble, and they talk about Jordynne Grace's Royal Rumble run. I'm really curious as to how they handle that on commentary on
because they're never afraid to talk about WWE. They did it this week, so
and WWE was surely not afraid to talk about them on Saturday either.
No, that's good.
That Endeavor streaming partnership, I'm telling you, something's there.
And people were trying to at me on Twitter going, oh, they did it with Mickie James. This is just a one. No, it ain't, because Jordynne Grace has no prior relationship with WWE. This is not, I think it's more of a partnership than some people are assuming.
But I think it's going to be slow. I think it's going to be slow and steady. I don't think you're going to see anything blow up anytime soon, but I think there's going to be like further steps to like bridge that relationship between WWE and TNA. And I think with time and trust, we could get to a point where WWE and TNA are working together like AEW and New Japan work together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't rule that out as a possibility. This is not the Vince McMahon era anymore. The man is gone and he's never coming back. This gives Triple H an opportunity to show the world that WWE is a different company than it was in the past. And I think a working relationship with TNA where talent shift back and forth for special occasions could be extremely beneficial to both companies.
Yep, exactly. So a big return for Naomi. Number 2 against Natalya there. Bayley coming in at 3, both of our picks to win. Candice LeRae at number 4, and then the big surprise, Jordynne Grace at number 5. Props, they kept that quiet because Jordan had they did rehearsals and stuff. Probably had to rehearse that apron spot with the KOD with Bianca. Jeez, that was
they rehearsed on Thursday.
Yeah, they rehearsed on Thursday, so good job keeping that quiet. Very big surprise, obviously coming out with the title. They mentioned Michael Cole mentioning that she's the Knockouts champion. Very cool. I did not. I mean, they said expect from other companies, but man, I did not expect Jordynne Grace to be the
PW Insider reported it Saturday afternoon. So I threw it up on WrestleZone, but I was very, very cognizant of people who
about the other companies.
Spoilers. I put about Jordynne Grace being.
Oh, they mentioned Jordan.
Oh yeah, Mike Johnson had that story Saturday afternoon, but I made sure the headline was not, a massive spoiler. I did not want anybody to know who it was, if it was a he or a she or whatever. If you
totally missed that. Click. Then.
If you didn't want to know, well, go enjoy the Rumble and not be. And
I was
not be spoiled.
I started the day going out of town for my buddy's daughter's birthday party, and then I came home. I took a nap until kickoff, so that's probably why I missed it all, because I took a little nap to make sure I was energized for the Rumble. Jose Gonzalez, what's up, man? Good to see you on here. Jack, good to see you on here as well. The Frantic World, thanks for coming on tonight. Number 6, Indy Hartwell. And then Asuka at number 7, to the surprise of Bayley. I think she might have was left in the dark that Asuka was going to be in the Royal Rumble. Ivan Al coming out for her. I think it was her first Royal Rumble. Katana Chance at 9, followed by Bianca Belair at 10. Another cool moment, though, when Jordynne Grace came out. Jordynne Grace and Naomi hugging. Of course, they had the big title match for the Knockouts title, hugging and then slugging it out. I like that spot. That was pretty cool. Kairi Sane in at 11, so now we have 3 women of Damage Control in there. Tegan Nox at 12. I thought that was kind of funny how Naomi or Natalya tried to eliminate her tag partner and only to get one-upped by the younger lady and Tegan. I thought I didn't like Tegan getting eliminated right away after that, but I thought it was a good. I didn't expect Tegan to be the one to eliminate Natty. I figured, well, Natty's turned heel and face so many times this past 2 years.
Yeah, we don't need another flip-flop of Natalya. I'm really hoping that's not the direction that they're going in.
Kaden Carter at 13 after losing the tag titles. Chelsea Green at 14, almost teasing another only 5-second appearance in the Rumble, but thankfully she lasted a lot longer. I thought it was hilarious when Piper Niven caught her and acted like she was going to drop
fake the drop. Yeah.
Chelsea's face was tremendous when and then with Nia Jax coming in later with the spots with Nia Jax and Piper, and Chelsea keeps getting in the middle of the fire. That was one of the more hilarious parts of the Rumble outside of everything R-Truth did. Piper
I still don't understand why R-Truth was 24 when he heavily implied on SmackDown that he was 19.
Yeah, maybe because
he asked if he had to quarantine, or he was open or something like that. So 24 doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, maybe when he was opening up those baseballs in the kickoff show, maybe he found a 24 opening up those baseballs.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that happened.
Did you watch the kickoff show?
Yes, I saw the kickoff show.
Oh, that was truth, man. Xia Li, a woman with absolutely no direction in WWE right now at 16, followed by Zelina Vega, Maxine Dupree. Nia Jackson at 19, eliminating a few of the women. Shotzi Blah coming out with her tank at number 20. The Man at 21, followed by Alba Fire with her best Brian Kendrick tribute pants on at number 22. Baszler at 23, Valhalla at 24, and that's when R-Truth came in. And I predicted it on SmackDown that R-Truth was going to be entering the Women's Royal Rumble, then going, my bad. Sure enough, there he is.
I just want to say for the record that Michael Cole was way too excited that Valhalla was wearing the antlers.
Yeah, I don't
way too freaking excited. I didn't understand that at all. I was just like, what is going on?
Is there some sort of fetish we don't know?
I don't know. It was very weird.
The NXT non-surprise because when they were filming Randy Orton walking down the ramp during the day, a nice little Roxanne Perez logo was behind him. So we all knew Roxanne Perez was going to be in the Rumble. Number 28, finally the debut of Jade Cargill. Big pop for her. Tiffany Stratton, 29, and returning Liv Morgan after 6 months away with a shoulder injury in at 30. Matt, Jade Cargill.
Dude, what have I been saying on here for months? They were building up Nia Jax to feed her to Jade.
Man.
And it has begun. That's exactly what that's what all the build for Jax has been for, because Jade's gonna destroy her.
And they pushed out how it took 11 women to eliminate her last year. And well, this year
they tried that spot again this year, and Nia pushed them all off.
And it only took one.
Yep.
Picked her up for a slam and then picked her up to throw her over the damn top rope. Boy, I don't think you could have done any better of a debut than what they did with Jade there.
And a lot of people are already speculating that it's going to be Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair against the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania 40.
That'd be badass. I wouldn't mind that.
And I think it's a perfect way to protect Jade from singles action for now.
Yeah.
Put her in a tag team for now as she continues to improve and get better. I think that's a brilliant move.
And now that the tag titles
really
are, because I mean, I love Katana and Caden, but the crowd just does not give two shits about them.
I
They
was
were
so
more
happy
popular.
I was so happy when they lost those titles on Friday.
They're
I
more
was so
popular.
happy.
They were more popular in NXT than they are in the main roster. They're just not coming
I didn't
across.
like them in NXT. I don't like them on the main
I
roster.
like him. I like him.
Can't
I think
stand their gimmicks, dude. Their
I
gimmicks
like
are
it.
terrible. They
I
need a
like it.
complete gimmick makeover. Both of them. Like the dancing party girls with the stupid smoke guns. No, I'm done with it. Didn't work in NXT. It works even less on the main roster. They need a creative overhaul for both of those women.
Yeah,
It
I
needs to be
mean,
done, and it needs to be done soon. There's
I'm
nothing
I'm
wrong with
not.
them in ring, but their characters suck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and calling your finish the keg stand is kind of stupid too.
Ugh.
So yeah, so there we go. We got down to the final four included Tiffany Stratton, Bailey, Liv Morgan, and Jade Cargill. Tiffany got eliminated, and so then we're down to Bailey, Morgan, and Cargill. And oh man, that was a awesome sequence.
You really think they're gonna wait till WrestleMania to pull this match off, JB? Because I don't. Then this could be done as early as Elimination Chamber. They could do this on
not
an
if they're
episode
doing
of.
the tag.
They could do this on an episode of Raw. I think the tag match is much more likely at WrestleMania.
For those listening on the podcast, a chat there from Taylor Swinson, Nia Jax going to face Jade at WrestleMania. I don't know.
I don't see it. I really don't see it.
I mean, we've already got 2 women's title matches. Yeah, I don't see
you got the 2 women's title match. You're gonna have a tag title match, and you'll probably have 1 additional women's match, which I assume will some way somehow involve Naomi, because you don't bring Naomi back and then not have a match for her at WrestleMania. So Naomi's gonna have to have an opponent for Mania. I don't know who you're gonna put her with. Reports are that she's gonna be on the SmackDown brand, so that kind of helps narrow down who they'd want to put her against. But to me, you can't bring Naomi back without a plan for WrestleMania. She proved her worth in TNA about how valuable of a commodity she is. And the last thing you could do at this point is bring her back and throw her in a tag team, because we all know what happened when she walked out the last time.
I mean, this is a wild idea, and I don't know if it's needed, though it may not be a terrible idea. But I say you get Naomi, you get Nia Jax, you get Zoe Stark, get Shayna.
Where are you going with this?
Get Liv Morgan. Trying to think of some other women you could include. You introduce a women's intercontinental title and have a ladder match at Mania. And have
I surely wouldn't hate that, but I don't see them doing it. I think that's a great idea. Especially if it's a dual branded title that can go back and forth between Raw and SmackDown. I love the idea.
And I would have Roxanne win it.
With all the bad look towards women WWE has right now with that Vince lawsuit, it'd be nice to show some more shine on the women and introduce another singles championship for them all to compete for. I would not hate that at all.
In my opinion, I think AEW is missing tag titles for the women, and I think WWE is missing a secondary title.
I definitely agree. AEW could introduce tag titles for the women, and WWE could introduce a secondary singles title for the women on their end. I love the idea. I don't know if they're going to do it, but I love it. You know what? I hope you're right. I hope that's what they end up doing.
That's just me coming up with things. There's absolutely no rumors at all.
Yeah, but I love it. I love where your mind's at. So
hopefully Trips is listening to us tonight.
We're getting Rhea and Becky, and we're getting Bailey and Io.
Yep.
Those are the matches, and I believe one of those 2 matches will end up closing night 1 of WrestleMania now, because with Punk out and Rollins hurt, Rollins is still going to compete, but I don't think it hurt Rollins against whoever that they decide to put him against now is going to close WrestleMania. So I believe with Punk out now,
Well, now that Rollins
it opens the door for the women to get the main event of night one.
Rollins is aiming to be back in a month now, so
no, Rollins is still going to work WrestleMania. I just don't think he's getting the main event anymore. I think he lost the main event when Punk went down on Saturday night. Yeah, so I think the women are gonna close night one of WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, I definitely could see Rhea and Becky closing night one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if this was an all-time of the 7 women's Royal Rumbles, but it's up there for one of the best. I thought the energy was high throughout.
I really enjoyed the women's Rumble.
Yeah, I thought the energy was high throughout. I thought it was entertaining throughout. A lot of little things that were great with Chelsea and R-Truth. A lot of, Jordan Grace and Naomi in the ring, and Jade Cargill staring down with Nia Jax got a big pop. Jade Cargill staring down with Bianca Belair got a big pop. Ivy Niles staring down with Jordan Grace got a big pop. There was a lot of things here that got people excited. It was well done. I thought the 3 women on the apron at the end was tremendous spot. With the end of it, I thought that was very well done. Them 3 working on the apron. So yeah, well done, ladies. Let's see here. So now with Bayley going 63 minutes, she breaks Rhea Ripley's record with 63 minutes, beat it by about 2 minutes or so, I think. So obviously she was the Iron Woman, and oddly enough, she got the second most eliminations with 7. Nia Jax had 8, which 8, I believe, ties the record for a single Rumble with Bianca and Shayna Baszler. Outside of Bayley and Naomi, props to Bianca being in there for almost 50 minutes. Outside of the 2 other Iron Women there in the match. But there you go. A very good match. And then we go down to the Fatal 4-Way. I thought the Fatal 4-Way was good. I thought it was a good match, but I mean, we knew it was going to happen. At least the ending was clean.
I thought it was the worst thing on the show, easily.
At least the ending was clean. That's all I got to say.
I didn't like it at all.
We know Rowan was going to come out. Because Cody's got to finish his story against Roman, so we knew Roman was going to win.
And if Solo Sikoa comes out one more time in a fucking hoodie to interfere,
yeah, it gets old.
I want someone to just slap him across his face. We know who you are by now, dude. The hoodie's not necessary anymore.
At least
bring someone in a hoodie to interfere, Tama Tonga. You want to bring someone in a hoodie to interfere, Jacob Fatu. We don't need Solo Sikoa coming out in the damn hoodie anymore. It's played out and dumb. Enough. I'm so tired. I cannot wait till Cody beats Roman at WrestleMania and we can move on from all this shit.
I saw not a report, but more of a theory that was interesting that states, well, if AJ's going his own way, you bring in Tama Tonga to lead the OC.
I definitely think that's where he's going. I think Tama Tonga is WWE bound. I just don't know when, but I believe that's where he's heading.
Have him join Gallows and Anderson, and
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. Gallows and Anderson need something to do.
Yeah, they do. God, they're too good.
I hate the fact that they're being used as bit players, backstage roles in this AJ Styles storyline.
Well, AJ goes emo.
They literally signed Gallows and Anderson back to do absolutely nothing. And it sucks because those are 2 incredibly talented people that were working anywhere and everywhere, and they're just wasting away in WWE collecting a paycheck. Gallows and Anderson deserve so much more than what WWE is giving them right now. It's very, very disappointing. This is an excellent question, and I don't have a good answer. Antoine Phillips asked, what is Randy going to do at WrestleMania 40? And I honestly don't know. I have no idea. I thought if Orton would have won the 4-way at the Rumble, him and Punk would have made sense. If Rock was in for Mania, and clearly Rock's not in for Mania. But yeah, what do you do with Randy now? Because I think LA Knight's going to be paired with Logan Paul. So do you do Randy and AJ? Like, do you extend that rivalry to WrestleMania? I don't know if I want to see that. But if you don't do that, then what are you doing with Orton?
That's the report I saw. Taylor just said it. Randy versus Solo. I did see a report that might be the plan.
So Orton's going to be continue to be involved with the Bloodline all the way to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I did see something.
I don't love that.
I did see something yesterday that suggested that the direction might be Randy and Solo. I don't know if that came from Meltzer. That appears to be the guy talking a lot lately, and where a lot of things are coming from. But I did see a report that did say that might. Man, I don't know if I love
that. I love that as an elimination chamber match.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I love it as a WrestleMania match.
U.S. title match up next. Logan Paul, Kevin Owens. Once again, Logan Paul looking good. Kevin Owens looking good. The ending, Jesus. Come on, KO. Learn from William Regal. Put the knucks in the trunks.
He's not used to cheating like that, though. I get it.
I know.
Honestly,
that was
for a DQ finish, that was one of the best DQ finishes WWE has done in a long time.
That was very slick. I didn't even think about him still being on his hands until the ref looked up. And how many times does the ref even look at the
I still liked it. Like,
yeah,
it was so many DQ finishes where I'm like, that's so lame. I actually like this. I felt
it was unique.
It protected KO. It protected. It kept the title on Logan Paul. They can continue on their thing. There might be a multi-man. Like, you can't roll out a multi-man for the United States title WrestleMania. KO might be involved in that.
Well, they could be.
Multiple people might be in on that U.S. title picture come WrestleMania 4.
I think you'd almost pencil in a rematch at Chamber, though.
Maybe, or maybe they do Elimination Chamber. I don't know. Well, I think it's very. The men
are already going to have one for the world title. So
yeah, Edward, this was Dave Meltzer's speculation, and it was almost immediately shut down by both Buddy Matthews and Brody King, who made fun of him tremendously on social media for it.
Yeah,
I don't buy into this. As far as I know, Malachi Black's deal with AEW isn't even up until 2027. So it's not like he's going anywhere anyway. I'm not sure what Buddy Matthews' contract is, but I don't foresee either of them heading back to WWE anytime soon. When their deals are up, will they go? Maybe, but I don't think that's in the plans right now.
I think it's just Meltzer trying to point that that's what Andrade did, so they're gonna go join their ladies in WWE too.
Well, Meltzer was pointing out the fact that the graphic was changed on the steel cage match. It was originally labeled an elimination trios, a trios elimination steel cage match. And later in the week, they redid the graphic to say, escape the cage, trio steel cage match. So Meltzer was speculated that it was changed because Malachi and them didn't want to take the pin, and they changed it all, and they're going to be leaving, and he doesn't understand why AEW is protecting them if they're going to be leaving, and blah, blah, blah. According to Will Washington and other people in AEW, it was escape the cage was always the plan. In the graphic, the initial graphic was done wrong, and that happens. But
it's a match type you don't see.
Well, here's the problem with Meltzer. The problem with Meltzer and the people who report on him is there's way too many people that listen to his audio and they take his speculation and his ramblings and they turn it into news.
Gospel.
Yeah. Yes, you can speculate on things and it doesn't mean it's news. Like me and you just talked about the possibility of WWE introducing a secondary women's title. We're not reporting that. It's just our opinion. It's speculation. But people take Meltzer's wording on things like that and they just run with it like it's automatically legitimate news. And people need to stop doing that.
Let's report it. So then Triple H can see it.
No, let's not report it. Let's have some media literacy.
We'll be credited with coming up with that idea.
No, absolutely not. I want nothing to do with that.
KO goes stone cold on Logan Paul after the match, which is why I think it's going to be a rematch at Elimination Chamber. Then we get to the numbers. 48,044 people packed into Tropicana Field. as we get to the Royal Rumble match, which I believe 1 and 2 were spoiled day of or day before. But it was a great 1 and 2. Which is probably going to be a WrestleMania match. A lot of people are speculating as well. Jay and Jimmy Uso, which I thought was
I think that's a no-brainer.
I think that was a great 1-2 choice, though.
Yes.
Grayson Waller coming in at 3. Thought he would last a lot longer. I thought this was going to be kind of where he makes his mark and kind of elevates himself, but nope, he did not last long at all. Welcome back, Andrade in at number 4.
El Idolo.
And he's not called up yet, but we're seeing a lot of them. Carmelo Hayes at number 5. Man,
were you surprised that Trick Williams wasn't in the Rumble?
Yes,
especially after the response that he got on SmackDown Friday night.
Yes, I thought he was going to be.
I was very surprised.
Because what was it? Oh, I said it on Twitter when because Nakamura came, Hayes at 5, Nakamura at 6. Pat McAfee dancing. I miss Pat McAfee dancing to the old Nakamura. Graves is like, don't let him see you do that. He doesn't like you anymore. When the beat dropped on Santos Escobar, I like that first note sounded like Trick. So I thought Trick was at 7, but it was Santos.
I definitely thought there was going to be some kind of interaction between Trick and Mello in the Rumble.
In a head scratcher.
They didn't do that.
Yeah, in a head scratcher, at number 8 was Karrion Kross, and he did not last long at all. That was kind of head scratcher because I thought you're pushing this Final Testament.
It was done to set it to continue the feud with Lashley.
Yeah,
that's all it was done for. Because they brought AOP out, they brought out the Profits. That Cross in the Rumble was specifically meant to continue the feud between the Pride and in the Last Testament. That's all it was. I didn't have any problem with that at all. I like when storylines continue.
True. I just thought
the Rumble and continue to branch on to WrestleMania.
I just thought he should have been in the match longer, is what I'm saying. Dom coming in at 9. Dominic actually, I thought, looked very well.
You ain't wrong, MK. You ain't wrong.
I thought Dominic looked very well in this Rumble, to be honest with you. So he lasted over 30 minutes. Dominic just keeps growing on me as a performer, man.
Oh, from my understanding, I could be wrong on this statistic, but I believe he wrestled more matches than anybody else in WWE in 2023.
Oh, really?
That's and if you want a surefire way to get better, it's called reps.
Yep.
So if Dominic worked more matches than anybody on that roster in 2023, that's how he got better. That's how it works, people. Repetition. You improve every time you step into that ring. In Dominic working NXT, working main roster, doing all the house show loops and everything. That helped him out a great deal.
Carlito in at number 10. Bobby Lashley, of course, at 11, which we got the old story with Cross.
I gotta let Edward know. Edward's asking if we think MJF's coming to WWE.
No, we've said this every week.
We've touched on this before. The MJF thing's a storyline.
Will he be in WWE?
AEW a while ago, and he's not going anywhere.
Will he be in WWE eventually? Yes. This year? No.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I think he's going to have a run.
I think he could be he could be an AEW lifer, but there's always a chance. You never say never in wrestling, but I will say he's definitely not going to WWE right now.
Ludwig at 12, Austin Theory at 13, Finn Balor from the Judgment Day at 14. Time to finish the story. Cody Rhodes in at number 15 to a gigantic pop. The big man at 16, Bronson Reed. Kofi at 17. We didn't get a Kofi crazy moment. He didn't last that long in there either.
You do realize there's a lot of best friends across both companies, right, Edward? He ain't going. Let it go.
Gunther at 18 shortly after Kaiser got eliminated, and of course Gunther with his best look of disappointment that he could have with Ludwig not being in the Rumble still. Ivar at 19, happy that Ivar got a spot in the Rumble. Ivar is impressed with Eric going down with a neck injury, if I remember right. So Ivar has been doing a hell of a job on his own. Great feuds with guys like Bronson Reed. Braun Breaker, who I was thinking somebody else was going to be filling in with Brock Lesnar's spot, but it turned out to be Braun Breaker. I thought Braun Breaker was going to be in it no matter what, but Braun Breaker, my God, some of those spears.
The man made the most of his opportunity.
He did. He looks. I mean, and I got tired of kind of I got a little tired of Braun Breaker in NXT.
He looked better in that Rumble than anything he's done on NXT in 2023. Like, that
And
man was motivated to show the people in charge of the main roster, I'm ready. I don't need to be in NXT anymore. Call me up. And I believe he might have earned himself a call up in that Royal Rumble.
I think so too. I think I saw another report that said that it's permanent. I think I saw something that said that.
Yeah, finish out the Dusty Cup thing and move to that roster
because he's tagging with Corbin there, isn't he?
Yep.
In Y at number 21 is Omos, because they haven't even been used. I mean, put Chad Gable in this, or Otis.
You gotta have the Giant in the Rumble. You know how they like to do that. That's never gonna change. If you got a big, it doesn't matter. If you got a big giant guy, you throw him in the Rumble. It's entertaining. It's interesting. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and also I thought it was a wasted entry at 22 with Pat McAfee. You know how much I love Pat, but it was entertaining.
I wish they would. I wish it was funny. But I wish you would have gotten there and did something. Yeah, I know Almost is in the ring, Pat, but there's a lot of people laying in corners that you could have just slid in and started stomping on. You didn't need to interact with Omos, buddy. You could have done something else.
Braun might have worked with you. You might have got Braun to work with you, Pat. You know. Then we got some more.
One thing I want to say real quick. In terms of wasted Rumble spots, I was really happy this year that they steered away from using tag team wrestlers in the men's Royal Rumble. Because that was always a Vince trope. Way too many tag team wrestlers in Royal Rumbles years past. I'm like, why are they in here? We all know they have zero chance of winning. So, like, the fact that they didn't include, like, main Raw and SmackDown tag teams in the Rumble this year for the men, I was really happy about.
We got JD McDonough at 23, Truth at 24. Truth throwing JD in only to get eliminated. Miz at 25. We got a little awesome Truth pose.
He got the hot tag from Dominic.
The first time in Royal Rumble history we get a hot tag at the Royal Rumble. God, our Truth is just amazing. Damian Priest at 26 says, I'm not amazed by you, R-Truth. Bye. CM Punk at 27. Ricochet at 28. Drew at 29, and a returning Sami Zayn at 30, who went right after Drew. And like I said, once we get down to the final four, Cody, CM Punk, Drew, and Gunther, I thought the final four was well done. And then I thought, though Punk was blown up, well, we know why. He was hurt also, but he's also probably a little out of shape. Still, I thought the final two with him and Cody was a good final two. You agree, Matt?
The final four was the perfect final four to be.
Yeah.
And the right man won. Could you imagine the disaster that WWE would have on their hands right now had Punk won and he would have had to relinquish that spot at WrestleMania? That would have been awful. Thank God Cody Rhodes won. And
would you have Gunther, if you're Adam Pearce, force Gunther if he wants in the chamber?
He can't. Unless his green card situation's worked out, he can't leave the United States. So Gunther can't even go and wrestle in the Elimination Chamber. So if they're going to do...
So it ain't going to be Gunther and Seth.
If that's the plan. If the plan is to do a chamber for the Rollins #1 contender, Gunther can't be in it. Unless they've worked something out recently that nobody knows about yet. So we're out of time, folks. It's time for Raw.
That men's Rumble was good. It was, I think the women were better. But yeah, the men's Rumble was good. We'll go over some of the men's stats, maybe just some of the eliminations and things real quick next week. But it is almost time for executive producer Dick Wolf to sign us out. And there he is right there. Dick Wolf is on my screen, so it's time to go. Guys, thanks again for joining us in the chat, and for those listening to us podcast-wise. For Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thanks for tuning in to Lost the Midcard, and we will catch you next week.